Before we start the actual carving, there's a really important stage, and that is to try and visualize what we're going to do, to think about how this is going to work. So the first thing we can think about is the high spots. This is quite a thick bit of wood, and I'm thinking perhaps it's even too thick, but what I'm thinking right now is that these acorns are going to be quite prominent. So this and this are really going to be part of the highest spots. So everything's going to be coming down into that. We have to take wood away around that and then round them over. If we look at the stalk here, now that can't be here, it's got to be right back. So this will come round back here, and the stalk is going to be down somewhere like that. In fact, this point here might be right at the back, and it might be that we end up undercutting that, which will be all right. We might actually have that free. The grain is going this direction, so quite strong. So if we look at these leaves here, I see these leaves as effectively tilted like this. So looking at this leaf is tilting in this plane here. So this edge here is right back. Somewhere here is a sort of medium high spot, and it's coming right down like that. So this is curving over like an arch. It'll go down into there, down into there. So I'm thinking about how does that go, and see I'm using my hand like this to sort of try and feel that. The same here, this is a very similar leaf coming around this way this time. So these are low here, and it's coming over like that and down into here. Same with this one. This is probably about the medium area, but in both sides now it's coming down into there, and this is scooping around a bit like that. So before you start carving, really try and feel how the various parts are going to work. Which parts you're going to leave, which are the highest points, which are the lowest points, and which are the bits in between, and how those all join together. Then when we've got that sorted, we can put it into our vise, like so. Or if you don't want to use a vise, you can make this a bigger piece of wood and clamp it on the bench. And then we get our carving tools and we can start taking some of this wood away. Make sure you've got a drawing to hand, because we're going to take away these lines. So keep an eye on that. And I'm going to start by just outlining these acorns. I'm using a mallet because the wood's quite hard. I'm going to go across the stalk as well here. So what that's doing is protecting the acorns, and now just start to work this over. So it's going to be coming down this way into, let's get a bigger tool on that. The way I'm carving is with the grain. So if you remember, the grain is going in this direction here. So I'm carving with the grain like this. If I was to carve like this here, I would quite likely break these edges off. And especially here, this one is a little bit weak because it's short grain. In other words, the fibres are short here. So I've got to be careful as I do that not to knock it off this way. Might be all right if I did that. I might have to repair it, but we don't really want to do that if we can avoid it. So I'm starting to think how this shape goes round, you see. Over like this, and then this way. Now, in order to get these sticking out, I have to take more wood away from here. I've gone from the mallet to just working this a little bit more accurately by hand. I think what's important to remember, if we look at our drawing here, that there's this middle vein happening here, and that's the curve there, like that. That's going to come around here, and all the various bits of the leaves are going to come off it, a bit like an acanthus leaf in a way. So now I've got this leaf roughly there. I'm going to turn to, say, the one on the other side, get that sorted, and then the third leaf. So I know this has got to go back, so let me start here. Again, we're going with the grain up here, so that's fairly strong. Nicely held down by the paper sandwich. Looking at the other side, I can see the height here is going to be about a third down, I think. So I can take some of that off. This leaf here goes behind this stalk, so I can just stop off short here for the moment, just to remind me that's what's going to happen. Remember, this is a bossing in stage, so this is just the biggish picture. If we look, say, here, you can see here's the lie. The overall shape is like this. We're down here, right towards the back, leaving a little bit. I don't quite know, exactly where that's going to be. When I get to the next stage of modelling this, I'll know more. Some of this will be taken away, so not too close at this stage. A little bit, perhaps 3 or 4 millimeters, 1/8 of an inch, bit more than that. Here's the stalk. Brought that fairly well round, you can see. And that's, look at the height here we've got. So you could have, in theory, started with a thinner piece of wood at this height and glued on a little piece like that, but I rather wanted it to come out of one bit. So as we go round, you can see this bit, not quite as low as the other one. I could take a little bit more of that. And here we are back here, unchanged. So my next job now is to take this leaf and push this one back. Give that some shape. It can't be too full, because I want this to show prominently, so there's quite a bit of wood to take away from that one. So this middle leaf, which is like this, there's the centre vein, is a bit of an S shape. So it's rounded here and then hollowed a little bit there, so it's like that, and that gives us a bit of a step between the two. But I don't want to go too back here, and they've got this leaf coming underneath there. So I've just separated that out a little bit. But what I'm finding is that this is getting in the way here, this lump of wood. So I really need to turn to bossing in this acorn part. But for now, if you just have a look, this is the stage we should get it at. The leaves, the main shapes are in there. You can see this turn like this. There's quite a bit of wood left in here, and we're going to have to undercut that, but it won't be like that when we're finished because we'll be modelling this a bit. And I think you can see I've left this fairly proud. I'm not taking it easy, not taking too much wood off immediately, but that's the stage. So get it to this stage, and then we'll turn to getting some shape to these acorns.